Welcome to this edition of the Power Circuit program. Today we'll bring to you the new Secretariat of the Project Implementation Unit, PIU, of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. You will hear more about this section of TCN in the course of this program. This utility company will continue in its best efforts to keep you informed about its mandate of managing the national electricity grid and wheeling bulk power nationwide. Let's bring you the headlines. Minister of Power says his ministry and TCN are working to restore power supply to affected areas in Borno. In today's interview segment, the General Manager Program Coordination for the PIUs at TCN, Engineer Joseph Chiroma, will be speaking about this new Secretariat for PIU and how TCN is repositioning the unit for maximum project delivery. Right in this building, 4 project implementation units are housed here, and they are poised to deliver power transmission projects that are funded by multilateral donor agencies. Engineer Chiroma will speak more about this, so don't go away. I am Amara Agogoesi. Please stay with us. The Minister of Power, Engineer Salim Maman, says the Federal Ministry of Power and the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, are working to restore power supply to affected areas in parts of Borno State. Here is the rest of the reports.
It was a delight at the powerhouse in Abuja as the Minister of Power, Engineer Salim Maman, along with other officials, including the acting managing director of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, received the Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum. Governor of Borno State, Professor Zulum, said his visit was to discuss issues relating to the power sector in Borno State, especially the recent attack by Boko Haram insurgents on various electrical installations within the state. He noted that work has reached an advanced stage to rehabilitate the vandalized power transmission towers in the state towards restoring bulk power supply.
We believe even without the materials, the 2 collapsed towers can be rehabilitated within the shortest possible time. And it is a sincere belief that the curing process of my own father as governor of the state will do everything possible. Necessary to support the TCN in terms of security and others needed to facilitate that process. Then we once again use this opportunity to thank as well as members of the team for the reception of all of us, both in the team and the rest of the world. Thank you very much.
The governor made a passionate appeal to the federal government to connect underserved areas within the state to the national grid. He also presented the Borno State Development Strategy to the Minister of Power as he thanked him for his visit and assured him of the ministry's prompt intervention on the issues he presented. Responding, the minister extolled the qualities of the governor as he said there are intense efforts to fix power transmission towers damaged by insurgents towards swiftly restoring bulk power supply to the affected areas.
We have been working on it day and night, both the TCN and the distribution company, that the Yola Distribution Company and the TCN. So it's not that we are sleeping, we are aware of all that is happening, and we have taken action. And people are at the sites right now, they are working. As regard to what you said, you may not need a temporary solution to whatever that is going on now. You just want to go on straight and erect or construct that is collapsed. Your Excellency, we want to tell you or assure you that this work will be done, inshallah, within a month. But what we are saying, these towers that you see, it is not something that you can just say, okay, you will do it within a week or two. It has to take minimum of like 30 days or so, because of the, there are some civil work that need to be done. If you cast your concrete, you have to allow it for 2-3 weeks to settle, and then before you put something on top of it. Otherwise, at the end of the day, it will still come back to collapsing. So we wanted to erect, we have mapped out our strategy and our plan. We have discussed this morning with the TCN, that we are going to put a temporary pole that you see temporary, not towers, a temporary poles that will bypass the two towers that collapse, so that that can be done within a week, because it's pole work and you strain it to 330. So after a week or two, maybe it will take us just a temporary for 2-3 weeks. Then we remove it. That is not costing us anything. TCN is ready.
Engineer Mamman further spoke about the ongoing works of power expansion program in the northeast, including the states.
As regard to villages that have no electricity, we are also aware of it, and we are doing something on it. I think there are about 2 to 3 villages, in Guru Odamaturu also, that we are extending our injection substation, 132 and 330 even. I think we have one that is right now going on from one local government to another. We will continue. We all have our data on that area, which place and where do we need, we have to boost, where do we have to increase the capacity, so that people will have electricity. Not only are people to have electricity, but we are also trying to see how we can increase the capacity of generation of electricity in that area, so that it can contain even the industries that are ready to come and invest in that place. We are going to increase our lines of 330 and also 132, just to give you more supply in the states.
The minister also said Borno State is expected to benefit immensely from the federal government's 5 million solar homes project, noting that it will ensure that areas that have not been connected to the grid can benefit from reliable, sustainable and off-grid solutions. The acting managing director of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, said TCN has enormous projects across the state, as he lauded the governor on the support he has been giving to TCN towards delivering projects.
You have been supporting TCN. That's what made us last year to write a letter. Thank you for all the efforts you are doing. Now, on the issue of the collapsed tower, I want to reiterate that since this thing happened on the 26th January, we are not relentant. We have been trying to make sure that this problem has been solved. But we want to assure you, sir, we are doing everything possible to make sure that we finish this job as quickly as possible. And as the Honorable Minister mentioned it, we are going to continue with the diversion, sir, because we feel that the diversion can be completed within 1 week, whereas the other one will take 3 to 4 weeks. So anyone that comes first, it will be okay. Since we have already mobilized our forces, we have already bought materials and everything, I think, sir, we should be allowed to continue with that. And we assure you that by next week, that temporary job which we are putting the poles will be ready and medical will be back to supply.
Engineer Abdulaziz further buttressed the minister's commitment towards ensuring that more places in the state are connected to the national grid, while others will get the solar power system. The Director of Renewable Energy and Rural Power Access in the Federal Ministry, Engineer Farouk Yabo, said the federal government was using a two-pronged approach in solving the problem of access to energy, comprising the expansion of the national power grid and the development of 5 million solar power home systems to unserved areas that includes communities in Borno State. Yabo further said the latter has been dispatched to state governors to select and work with the private sector on where the federal government will site the solar power projects. Shortly after the meeting, Governor Zulum, who briefed pressmen, reiterated his support for TCN towards ensuring improved bulk power supply in Borno State.
Towards improving the delivery of quality bulk electricity in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, engineers of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, have repaired one of the 132 kilovolts double-circuit power transmission lines in the city.
Sprawling across the IBB Golf Course area, a large section of the Hybro area of Maitama district, is the 132 kilovolt transmission line conductor evacuating bulk power from the 330 kV Katampe transmission substation up to the central area and beyond. The engineers had to excavate the soil to get the damaged cable, carry out necessary checks at the various sections of the switchyard.
Okay, let me this one.
Because this like one, this like
one.
two.
Yeah. Then we'll cover this. Leave this one back. We should leave this back. We should cover it.
Yes, to see the.
But let them just open it. Since they open this thing, let's.
No, this is the 41.
Okay, this one.
Oh, okay. You saw before they came?
Yes, I saw this cable.
Now.
Physically, it's looking healthy. Physically. Physically. You should remove this one now or not now?
No,
not now.
Yeah, kind.
Commenting on the repairs, the Acting Assistant General Manager Transmission Abuja region of TCN, Engineer Musa Shuaibu, explained the proactive objectives for the power line.
Line 1 has been out for a long time. So line 2, which is close to line 1, side by side, the cable are laid side by side. So in order to avoid any shock, to check out any induction, we have to knock out line 2. So now knocking out line 2 now enable the expatriate now severe the defective part of the line 1 conductor, underground conductor. We have 2 places, we're here and that is behind the IBB Golf Course and the Millennium Park. When we do that, we now quickly restore back line 2, then the work continues.
The repairs continue with the installation of the underground power transmission cable. The jointed cable was then arranged for sealing and testing before it was ready to be restored back to operation. Speaking further on the repairs, an officer 1 at the Systems Line Department of TCN, Engineer Ebeli Wodi, said one of the power lines was damaged in 2019 by builders around the area.
The whole thing started 2019 when they were digging along this golf club over there. So on the process of the caterpillar digging the terrain along our cable terrain, they now injured the cable along the road. So when they injured the cable explodes. And since then we have been having challenges about the circuit, about the line 1.
Engineer Iwodi also gave insight towards the line repair process.
We have been arranging how we will restore that circuit. I think since about a week now, 2 weeks, when we were making the preparation for the joining of the cable. So as you can see, at least we are almost complete this side now. By today, we will complete this side and go to the other side of the cable compound.
The TCN officials said the proactive thing the company did was that since it is a double circuit line, the second line has been feeding the coverage area after the first line was punctured by builders.
Of course, we have this line is double circuit. We have line 1 and line 2. And when the line 1 was punctured, they have been feeding the area with the second line. There was a voltage in the second line.
Engineer Iwodi further urged members of the public to be cautious of power installation signs so that they do not cause damage to such installations.
The power circuit continues after this break.
Did you know that our high-tension transmission cables were built to withstand high temperatures except artificially induced ones such as fire? Did you know that burning bush or refuse dumps by TCN transmission tower base or along the transmission line's right-of-way is an offense? Did you know that the fire can cause high-tension transmission lines to snap and fall to the ground, electrocuting living things within the line radius? Did you know that extreme fire can cause the legs of transmission towers to buckle, and that buckling of the main frame of a tower would lead to its collapse and may even pull down other towers along that transmission line's route, causing untold damage to the line? Now that you know. Yes, now that you know, TCN is calling on all citizens of Nigeria to please desist from destroying our collective national investments. Be careful, do not set fire on trash or burn bush beside transmission towers or under electricity lines nationwide. Help us preserve the transmission grid and save the nation from blackout. TCN, transmitting electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.
Hello there, you're still onto the power circuit, and we're right here at the new Secretariat of the Project Implementation Unit of TCN. It is a specialized unit of the company that ensures critical transmission line projects are delivered within specification and time frame. Join me inside as we speak with the General Manager Program Coordination for the PIUs at TCN, Engineer Joseph Chiroma, to reveal more about this new PIU Secretariat and how TCN is repositioning the unit for maximum project delivery.
What role do you play at the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN?
I'm the General Manager in charge of coordinating all the international donors-funded projects in the power sector. We have 4 of them. The African Development Bank, the French agency, the JICA project, and also that of the World Bank.
What are the core functions of the project implementation units of TCN?
The function of the office I'm coordinating is for us to ensure that projects are properly coordinated in terms of the setting up of the team of engineers and other core units that are to manage these projects, right from procurement up to project administration as well as project management for a successful delivery of those projects. So I currently coordinate this very office along with the project managers of those PIUs to ensure that we successfully, the best practice of project delivery on successful completion, not only on completion but also based on standards. That is exactly what I'm ensuring that is achieved in the power sector.
Can you speak about some of the critical ongoing projects?
There are so many projects on ground where we intend to add not less than 4,000 megawatts when all these projects are completed. But I just want to mention a few. We have what you call the Abuja high voltage transmission feeding scheme. It is a project that is supposed to bring additional sources of supply to Abuja. Currently, we have one source of 330 kV coming from Shiroro. We also have another 330 kV source coming from Ajakuta. The Abuja feeding scheme is to bring an additional or the third feeding source from Lafia into Abuja on the existing Makurdi-Jos transmission line. So as I said, we're not just going to have the 2 sources, we're going to have 3 sources of supply. That implies more reliability and also availability of power supply into Abuja. On the World Bank projects, we're working across all the 6 geopolitical zones. We're looking at substations that are already overloaded due to load growth over time and expansion that is going on all over. So over 30 number transformers are going to be impacted on the system We are upgrading most of them. The ones that are 60, 30, we are removing them to put 60 MVA. The ones that are 60 and they are overloaded, we are also removing them and putting them to 100 MVA. Those also that we are removing, we shall use them to build additional new capacity substations in the network. So holistically, we are working across the 6 geographical zones with respect to the World Bank project. For the African Development Bank, that we are looking at evacuation of those capacities from the substations. We are constructing a standard line that will run all the way from Alao-Owerri up to Onitsha. Currently, we can only evacuate about 400 megawatts on that axis. But when that new line comes on board, we are going to evacuate about 1,200 megawatts. So 4 times the current capacity will be able to evacuate. The same we are doing between Benin to Delta. We also have a single circuit line taking about 400 megawatts. That we also intend to construct a new line that can give us another 1,200 megawatts of power supply. That will have taken care of most of the power stations coming in from Mugeli and also from Okpai, and also the proposed expansions that those power stations need to expand in those locations. Coming back to the northwest, between Kaduna and Kano, we have just a single circuit line that can also will only about 400 megawatts alone. Currently, Kano and all the axes up to Damaturu, part of Katsina State, and also part of Dute and all those locations. They also have issue of power supply cut. That we intend to construct another line that can give us about 1,200 megawatts from Kaduna up to Kano to take care of all those locations. So these are all key major projects. But as I said, it's not easy. Holistically, every hands have to be on deck. Everybody has to be on deck to ensure that we deliver this project. The MD and the management of TCN are not sleeping over this. The international donors and also the Minister of Finance that are funding, that the funds are coming through them. Everybody is on deck to ensure that these projects are delivered without any delay.
You just heard from Engineer Joseph Chiroma. The discussion with him continues in subsequent editions of this program. However, one major takeaway from this interview is that TCN has now been repositioned to deliver more projects through World Bank, AFD, AFDB, and the JICA-funded project units. So, watch out. It's a wrap. Here are the highlights again. Minister says Ministry, TCN, to restore power supply to affected areas in Borno. And in the interview segment, you heard from the General Manager Project Coordination for the PIUs at TCN, Engineer Joseph Chiroma, as he spoke about the new PIU Secretariat and the reforms that are ongoing to ensure critical projects are delivered speedily. Thank you for staying with us always on the Power Circuit program of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. This episode and all others are available on the TCN YouTube channel. You can keep your views and comments coming on our platforms to support TCN in continually realizing its mandate. TCN wishes you a fruitful week ahead. Please remember to adhere to the coronavirus protocol. I am Amara Agogoesi. See you next week.